Welcome, ISCP fans, to a special midday episode with special guest, Mr. Tristan Vautier.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Tristan, always a pleasure, man. It's been like a tradition almost. Like every year you come on, and I think you've come on every year since we started for the last 7 years now, buddy.
Yeah, I think I may have skipped one, the last one, but I'm back. So yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
how? Oh, go ahead, Jared.
No, I'm saying this is my first opportunity to interview you, Tristan. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show again.
Well, thanks for having me.
So tell us about the Daytona 24, man. How'd it go? What was your thoughts, impressions? It's a new team, new teammates, old friends, I'm sure. So it's pretty interesting race here for you.
Yeah, I mean, the outcome was heartbreaking, but overall it was really good. I think last year we've had shining moments performance-wise. We've had some tough races as well where we were just not competitive. It seems like we clicked on something at Sebring last year in November, and we were hoping it was just not, just luck. And so Daytona was important for us because we were like, okay, if we get back to Daytona and can hit the track good, we probably can feel a bit more confident that we've really put our finger on something. And we've been competitive all for the entire 2 weeks, from the Roar qualifying race to the 24, and we were, I think, the incident happened 8.5 hours into the race, and despite that, the car would let the third most amount of laps overall. So it shows how much we've improved, as far as speed and competitiveness. I think now it's important to just keep doing what we've been doing until it clicks. Hopefully what we had at Sebring in November will work in March. We can be good there again. But yeah, team has made improvements on the setup, massive improvements in the pits. You got to remember you're fighting against teams that are, the best in the world, like IndyCar, F1 levels.
Mm-hmm.
On top of it, they have probably twice the budgets we're spending. So what we've been doing is remarkable as far as, mixing it up with them and now showing we can be regular contenders. So yeah, heartbreaking. At the same time, there was half an hour, 1 hour when I was in the garage waiting for the car to be repaired, where it was really hard because the team's coming to me saying we got a penalty and they're blaming you for the crash. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Obviously I got hit in the side. I didn't see it happen, but I really did nothing wrong. I was passing these guys on the outside, which is what you do in turn one at Daytona with GT cars, and something happened. I think they got into each other or something, and they were like, well, we don't know, but right now they're blaming us for it. And finally, I guess one of the two GT drivers came on TV and was interviewed and explained that he got hit in the back and sent him to me. So, and then obviously as time went by, there was more replays of what happened. And it doesn't make it better because in the end we still, lost an hour and a half and the race was over. But it's at least it's a bit relieving that it got clear that, it was kind of out of our control and caused by some other people. So it is what it is. It's important in those moments to keep a lot of serenity and just keep on doing what we're doing until it clicks. We got unlucky as well in Sebring when Seb got hit by a GT. And when it's like that, it's easy to start like rethinking and trying to do things differently. But to be honest, we've done nothing wrong. So we just gotta keep doing what we're doing, and it's gonna work out.
Now with a 24-hour race, how does it like change your mental status? Like when you, after an incident like that, where you're off track for an hour and a half, you're basically out of the race, but it's time to get back on the track and keep going. You still got many hours to go. How do you kind of keep your head still in the game, knowing that, hey, there's not really a whole lot we can do here except just drive around?
Yeah, that's one of the toughest things. Like sometimes you get an incident and let's say you're like 4 or 5 laps down, you know that you gotta stay in it because you could you could like still with safety cars and stuff get back in the game, but in that case, uh, you're really like all you're doing is hoping that somebody's gonna get an issue with more than 1.5 hours to go, so you can pass them and score points. So it's really just driving around, but at the same time, you gotta keep pushing, because if you just drive around, that's when mistakes happen, and it's pointless. And you've got your guys in the pits, we're staying awake and staying at it. So you owe it to everyone to like still give it your best. So it was very tough exercise, I think, for everybody. At least when we're driving, we got stuff going on, but for the guys on the pit stand, I think it was very difficult as well. But yeah, again, when there's still something to play for and you can maybe catch the laps back up with safety cars and stuff, it's much easier. But when it's 1.5 hours that you're down, it was for sure really difficult to stay in it. But I think the three drivers, we really tried our hardest, because that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, like the pit crew. I mean, kudos to them, because they really don't get much of a break. I mean, what was the average stint you guys were averaging? Was it 35 to 45 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. It's like 35 minutes, so it's really not much. So yeah, it's not like they can take naps, and yeah, it's even like our engineer and John Church, our team owner and strategist, like, you just gotta keep monitoring, and you're on the timing stand, and I think it gets really long. So it was tough for that, but yeah, it is what it is. We could see like all the way throughout the race, we were still competitive even after an incident and stuff, as far as our lap times and our pace. So it was even more frustrating, but yeah, we got another 9 races to go.
Well, I do want to say congratulations on winning the pole for the pole to get the pole. That was that was a positive.
Well, we didn't get pole; we got front row, but second was still really good.
I was saying for the race for the pole, you guys.
Yeah, the race for the pole.
Yeah. So
it's weird to say, isn't it?
I mean, overall, we spent a lot of time leading and a lot of time at the front, and that was kind of the side of Sebring last year. That was kind of news to people, right? So that was big for us, and that's what we remember. The guys have a lot to be proud of. Just a lot of improvements in the pits, as far as also the way the team works and stuff. So again, we're fighting against teams who've been in this series for so long, who've competed at such high series and such high levels, that it's tough. And with we got smaller resources, and what the team's doing is very remarkable.
So how are you and Sebastian Bourdais and forgive me if I forget the third, who's the third driver?
Yeah.
Like how are you guys gelling together as a team?
I mean, the three of us are French, so it helps always. We're always saying if we speak a lot of French, it means the car is really bad. If we speak English in the trailer, it means, or in the engineering office, it means the car is good. But no, we get along really well. We have a good chemistry. I think obviously Seb and Loic are very experienced, both in endurance racing and other categories. I'm younger, but I'm starting to have a lot of experience in endurance as well. So I think we understand what it takes to make the team work for 3 people, not just one.
Right.
And how important it is for what we do. And as far as this goes, it works really well. I wouldn't say there are any big egos in the team, which is very important for endurance racing. And no, I mean, it's good, to be honest. I've rarely had such a good relationship with my teammates, so it's cool. And Loic and I are about the same size, so we share the same seats, which is good for driver changes. Not much to do, so it's always good. Yeah.
So I mean, and so do your 2 teammates look at you as like basically the leader of the team, being the GT world champion, driver there, big trophy with the globe on it, you know, GT World Champion.
Yeah, we try to make it so there's no leader in the team. So three of us are leaders because
I'm joking with you.
We're all trying to get, like we're trying to make sure the three of us are happy, and I think that's what makes it work well. So yeah.
It was just my way to you know, brag that, you know, you are the GT World Champion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love that trophy, by the way. Love that trophy.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. Yeah.
Like take that, flat earthers. Look at my trophy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, one thing I'm kind of interested in, because you've been with JDC Miller kind of before they were JDC Miller back in Mustang Sampling, Spear, Daytona. You've been with the Cadillac DPI now for about 4 years now. How's that car, the evolution of the car and the DPI, kind of grown into you and you grown into it?
I mean, the class has evolved a lot in terms of it's much tighter now. I'd say in 18, it was more hit or miss. One weekend, one car will kind of dominate. The other weekend, another one, etc., etc. And now it's more like every weekend. I mean, I think the BOP is really close. All the teams have understood the way the car works, and everybody is maximizing everything even more. So it's getting much tighter. I mean, you look at the qualifying at the Roar. I think the 7 cars were within half a second. So it's just gotten, I don't know if it's gotten harder to win. It's just gotten more competitive in terms of just everybody's just very much closer to each other. I think the overall level of drivers has gotten even stronger. The lineups are even tougher,
Mm-hmm.
On my side, as far as the way the cars evolved, few changes, aero configuration, mostly linked to the balance of performance, but not many changes except that, year after year, you kind of know it better and better as far as setup. You start knowing which changes you like and you don't like on the car and stuff like that. And there's really little fine tuning, that gets better with time. But I mean, it's still a very similar car to what I drove in 18. I mean, we have Michelin tires now, which have a bit more performance, but that's the main difference.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it because I remember talking to Michael Shank back when he had the Leger,
Yeah.
and he was saying how much faster it could be if they had Michelin's on, and this was back when Watkins Glen was a monsoon, I think, like 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when I asked him that, so I wanted to ask you about the Michelin tires. So you've noticed a substantial difference in the performance of the car?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the lap times, we've gained between 1 and 2 seconds per track. So they are quicker. I think if you look at the overall racing world, Michelin is probably the leader in terms of, the racing tire manufacturers and reputation and quality. So it's been really good for that. I think it would be interesting to see the series implement something to where there could be an incentive to double stint tires, because it could bring in some strategy, make it interesting in that way, could save some money to the teams as well. So just like they do at Le Mans and in WEC, I think it could be interesting. And for that, maybe, we have a tire that's very focused on performance. For that, maybe we will need to focus on the tire where we lose a bit of performance for more durability. Michelin is really strong at making any kind of tire you want. So we could probably, we would have a more durable tire that's barely any slower. You see what I mean? But I think will be interesting for the series to explore. But yeah, as far as the improvement on the tires, I think straight away we've seen when we switched to Michelin that they're really high quality and we gain some performance.
Now, is the BOP and IMSA getting better and closer?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously, as time goes by, they're really starting to get a handle on each car and really figure out what they're capable of. I also think, I mean, Cadillac is most of the time always flat out because you got 3 different teams running the cars now, and every team wants to be the best Cadillac, right? To get the most support, to look the best. Every driver wants to be the best Cadillac driver. So I think on our side, it's not harder to manage, is you cannot really manage because everybody is 100% the whole time. I think now with the Acura between being split in between two teams, it's going to be harder because there's going to be competitiveness between the two teams. So it might be harder to, hide the game and manage that. And, you only have the Mazda, which is on its own. But I think now it's starting to be long enough to where IMSA has a good handle on okay, probably every car has been able to has shown its potential at some stage over the last 2 years, to where IMSA has a good feel for where everybody is at. So I'd say when we look at Daytona, we see how close the three manufacturers were at the end, fighting for the win with 1 hour to go. It would be very unfair to say that they are doing a bad job with the BOP, because it cannot get much better than the show we had. And I think at that stage everybody was flat out. So
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. I mean, it it's it is pretty crazy after 24 hours and you're that close. IMSA is doing something right.
Yeah,
which is definitely good to see. And I mean, and you've dealt with the FIA and you've dealt with IMSA and the BOP and all that. And does the FIA and IMSA approach the BOP differently that you've noticed, or are they about the same on how they approach it?
No, they approach it differently. Just the way they deal with it. I mean, in the SRO series, the series actually just grabs one car of each manufacturers and tests it themselves to get a good feel for it. I think probably 1 or 2 years ago, I'd say they were closer than IMSA on the BOP. Speaking mainly about the GT class, because we got to compare X to X. But I'd say IMSA has caught up and know they're doing as good a job, if not better. Maybe the process of IMSA took a bit more time, but I think now it's really refined. And but yeah, it's you notice some differences, but overall, I think both are quite working.
All right. Are you going to be at are you going to be at Le Mans this year with this team?
I'm trying. We won't be there with this team, but I'm still trying. I've been a reserve driver in 2018. I did the test day, so I've got some laps around the track. Just very hard to get your first shots, straight away in a professional ride. You actually have many pro drivers who find sponsorship to try and buy their way into their first Le Mans. On my side, I haven't found the opportunity yet, but I'm working actively on it, because with LMDH and the prototype scene becoming even more internationally globalized in terms of them adopting some common platforms, it's going to be very important to have Le Mans experience to be considered by manufacturers. And so it's a priority of mine to try and get it done. Yeah.
I'm just curious, have you talked to Sebastian Bourdais about running Le Mans at all? Because I feel like if there was anybody that could introduce you or help you out in that process, it would be someone like Sebastian, who knows everybody. I mean, he was born there.
Yeah, Sebastian has a lot of connections, and Sebastian has been one of the, I mean, I wouldn't say one of the, as he's been probably the one driver that's from far tried to help me the most, in my career. Is just a good person, and if he thinks somebody deserves a shot, he's gonna say it. He's not gonna be calculated about it or mind his words, because it could hurt him, or it could upset some people's feelings. He's just gonna say what he thinks, and I think that's one of his great qualities, because he is who he is, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But he's real, and I'm sure he would want to help me as much as he can, but it's just not easy, because most teams, most LMP2 teams right now in FIA WEC don't have manufacturer support or sponsor, and they need money, and it's very hard to get in it without it. So sometimes you get in because you're you're paired with an amateur driver who chooses you as his pro and brings you with him. But right now, I don't have this opportunity for Le Mans, at least. So if Seb can help me, I know he will keep his ears open and try to. But right now, it's even knowing the entire paddock, it's not that easy.
Yeah, for real. I mean, but I mean, everybody remembers you doing the qualifying for Dale Coyne, the Indy 500 without, and while you were doing the qualifying, it was already pretty much predetermined that you were qualifying for somebody else, and you had no idea you were going to be racing the Indy 500 come the next week. But then, you being you, and doing such a great job and, really handling yourself as a professional the way you are, it just worked out for you. So you just never know the opportunities that will arise at the last moment, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why you have to just put yourself out there and try, and always be 100% and do the job in the car, and then sometimes it takes care of itself. So I would say I'm not stressing about it. I'm trying, and if it happens, it happens. If not, gotta be honest, I got a great opportunity with what's happening in IMSA, and my first focus has to remain on the job I'm doing for JDC Miller Mustang sampling, and that's my priority number one. So if I can do Le Mans on top of it, great. If I can't, and if it would in any way affect my program here, I surely wouldn't. So focus number one, IMSA, JDC Miller Mustang sampling, and having a strong season to carry good momentum over here.
Right on. Jared, do you have any questions?
No, I was just kind of curious because you're close with John and everyone there, the team. You kind of got your start in Pro Mazda, Star Mazda back at the time in the Road to Indy. And actually, they were a team that used to be in the Road to Indy. Do you know if they have any sort of idea if they want to come back to open wheel, or if they're just happy and content there in IMSA?
I don't think it's the plan at the moment. I think they got to a point where economically it made more sense for them to switch to endurance. They were running mainly customer-based programs, where the programs were financed by drivers who had like personal backing or sponsorship. And step by step, they did a really good job and worked their way to the point where they can attract, sponsor money, proper money, and they managed to get that support from Ken and Brenda of Mustang Sampling Racing, and it's working for them at the moment. I think they're putting a lot of effort into endurance racing because everyone knows it's a very good place to be with LMDH coming, and you hope to be one of the teams that's going to be one of the few standouts when manufacturers really decide to jump in and pick a few teams which they're going to really try to support. So I think that's their main focus. I know they've been thinking sometimes about, hey, should we run an Indy 500 effort or something like that? But right now, I know they're 100% on DPI and hoping for good things comes 2023. And it worked for them. So I think also, to be honest, it's getting so competitive that, unless you have huge resources, huge backing, huge amount of people under you, like if you start like losing focus on the main thing, it's just very hard to be competitive when you see the level of the teams in IMSA. If you start diverting your attention too much, you may lose a big opportunity, because as I said, it seems like there's a lot of good things coming with LMDH, so it's important to really be focused on that.
Yeah, I mean, like they're really aiming for IMSA and WEC to be able to kind of go back and forth, again, like having WC coming over for Daytona and Sebring and all that. So it just it just seems like IMSA is going in the right direction, and starting to grow in popularity, and it's really good that you are where you are at the top class and everything. So it's you're in a really great spot, man, and really happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Got to make the most of it.
Yep. And like I said, man, always be positive, right? Because you never know.
Yeah. I mean, you're still racing. So, I mean, you got the relatively long career. It spanned almost 15 years now between the junior formulas over in France, the Renaults, and moving up into Road to Indy and over to IMSA. So yeah, it's awesome to see that you're still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget, IndyCar Rookie of the Year. Just want to throw
That is true. It's hard to forget about the IndyCar Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to be keeping going, one race at a time, 1 year at a time, and hopefully I keep going long and gotta try to get a few more trophies.
How much do you miss the Baltimore GP?
Yeah, well, actually, it was my favorite track.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It was mine too, because air conditioned paddock. I mean, need I say more?
Yeah,
Toronto's.
Yeah, that was cool, but I don't know. It was one of the few street courses where first off the lap was fairly long, so you had a lot of different track sections and corners, and it was one of the few street courses where you had proper high speed corners, and that I really really liked. So all that back section, like right coming to the start finish straight, it's quite rare to have a street course where you always need a lot of commitment on street courses, but with corners this fast, it made it even better. So it was I didn't have a lot of luck there in IndyCar, but I had a lot of luck in Indy Lights, and luck. Let's say things worked well, because that's pretty much where I won the Star Mazda title, because it led me into the last race with a huge lead, and in Indy Lights it's where I won and set myself up to be able to manage the championship on the last race of the season in Fontana Auto Club Speedway. So I keep very good memories of that place, and it's a track I really enjoyed driving. So
wherever you go, you wind up winning championships, man. That's all. Obviously, I wish you were still in IndyCar, and we did get a good amount of questions. We got about 20 questions from the fans, and
wow.
They were all asking, will you please come back to IndyCar?
No, I would, but right now, you gotta be realistic. You got F1 drivers who get into IndyCar bringing $2 or $3 million to get a ride. There used to be a time where when some rides would become available, you try to make 2 or 3 phone calls and find a little bit of sponsorship here, a little bit there, and you'd get something. But those times have changed, and no, realistically, the only way to be considered by an IndyCar team for something serious, that would be more than just replacing someone for a race if anything happens or something like that, is to shine in IMSA. And you've been seeing there's been some synergy, like look at Elio getting back to IndyCar after a stint in IMSA, and other examples to where I think, my main focus is to shine in IMSA, and that could open me some doors, first off for endurance racing, but then maybe if I stand out, the phone can ring for IndyCar, but it's not my everyday priority. It's not my everyday focus. My everyday focus is on what am I going to do today that's going to make me better to stand out this year. And then when you stand out in whatever you race, the opportunities take care of themselves. So that's the way I'm approaching it, and I'm not stressing over where I want to go. I'm stressing over the race that's ahead of me, and how am I going to win it.
Definitely. No, I just wanted to. Sorry, 2 phones. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, work phone. Sorry about that. Unprofessional, Frank here.
Oh yeah, it's unacceptable, man. Can't believe it.
I know. I'm sorry.
If only I had my soundboard here.
I can believe it. Because if I don't answer the one phone, the same number should call me my other phone, because it makes
of course. Yeah,
it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
But I understand about everything, but it is really encouraging, though, that pretty much everybody in the fan base still reveres you as a driver that they would love to see back, and they still haven't forgotten about you. So yeah, and there's been a lot of drivers that's come and gone. So, for you to still be in the front of everybody's minds for everything that you've done, I would say is it's just a really, good sign, and
Good for me to hear as well.
yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that was the most asked question.
Cool.
Oh, and one French a woman asked if you were single.
No.
But I figured I wasn't going to bring that one up. I figured I'll throw it in there. I think it's kind of funny. Yeah. So sorry, madame. But
Sorry.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I know you're on a tight schedule, and we always appreciate you coming on here, man. And hopefully, we'll have you on towards the end of the season and talk about pretty much everything that's going to happen this season, and nothing but good luck to you. Good luck at Sebring. Good luck at all the other great courses that IMSA goes to.
Yeah, I'm actually curious which other race for IMSA on the schedule are you most looking forward to this season?
I'd say Watkins Glen, because we haven't been last year, and it's probably my favorite track to drive a DPI on, just because of all the fast corners. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to. Hopefully things go okay with COVID and the schedule stays as it is, and we go there.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look into having you back on the show come the 6 hours at the Glen time.
I'm gonna try to make it there. So
good, cool.
Yeah. It's a 6-hour drive for me, and being that we're not doing many races this year like we have been, definitely looking forward to making it there, and I'll be able to see you there, and looking forward to seeing you, buddy.
Cool. Well, same here. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. And
definitely. And if anybody wants to know, 7 years ago, Tristan was one of only 2 drivers to reach out and really look out for Missy and I at Pocono, and the show exists because of this man we're talking to right now. So just wanted to, I know I thank you a bunch, but we're forever grateful for everything you've done for us, Tristan. Really.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
You are a class act, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar and a champion.
Thank you. All right.
So looking forward to seeing you, and but above all, man, be fast and be safe out there. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, guys, and be well, and talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Take care, buddy.
Take care. Bye.